Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Thursday's recording of Podcast University on ARM Radio. I'm currently with my friend Ben Kaizel, who just came from work and doesn't look too happy. What's up, Benny?
How's it going, Harry? Another exciting day at the office, as usual.
Is exciting. Have you been using thesaurus.com and looking up antonyms for miserable?
I'm not. If you can't tell, I'm being completely sarcastic. Work is crazy boring. Today I literally sat at my desk 9 to 4 and wasn't even assigned any actual work. So I was just kind of navigating the web. I went on a few walks, got a lot of coffee, and that summed up my day. So it's as exciting as my voice sounds right now.
So we're going to talk about our work like we do every episode, because we find we try to relate to the flight of everyday people. And
the common man.
Yeah, and you know what? You guys may think that Ben and myself are not the common men just due to our prowess on the radio, but we really are like all of you. But Ben, before we talk about work, I want to talk about the weekend. And this weekend, because we always like to update our listeners on what we've been up to, what we're doing. And this weekend we had our good buddies Ben Patowski's birthday party, and it was a blast.
It was awesome. We went to a really good Mexican restaurant in Manhattan, and we didn't have to pay for any of the meal, which was awesome. But no, regardless, it was such a good time. Great food, great drinks, great people. There were like about 25 people there. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so you showed up late because you were shooting up some hoops with Tony T-Bone Bye.
Yeah.
And shout out Tony.
Shout out Tony. I wasn't very late. I was like 2 minutes late.
So. No, well, different, because me, Ben, Jake Levinson, a few of Ben's college buddies, we went to Beer Garden in Meatpacking District, and Ben White met us, Gabe Greenberg. I feel like we're dropping a lot of last names, but
that's what we like to do.
That's
here.
become our new
We've
thing.
Been dropping names.
Yeah, that's become our new thing.
Every week for the past 3 or 4 weeks, we've been dropping names.
It's the Thursday at 9 thing. But we went to Beer Garden. I want to tell you, I love Beer Garden, and I actually went there again for Father's Day.
Really?
Yeah, we went there for Beer Garden. But the coolest thing about Beer Garden, Ben, is you buy tickets to get drinks. So you don't pay for drinks. So you walk in like... It's like you walk in and you go, let me get 2 tickets, and 2 tickets means 2 beers. So there's no line ever waiting for a drink, and I'm like, that's so smart. Like, the longest I ever waited for a beer was a minute and a half.
Really?
So you buy tickets
crowded.
instead of waiting for lines. Very crowded. There wasn't a seat available.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that. That's interesting. Waiting in line for beers or for anything can be a pain in the ass. So I've never seen that strategy at a restaurant, so I find that interesting.
Yeah, I mean, yes, they probably lose out on tips a little bit because you're only given the ticket, but
the only time I've seen that is like at a deli or something like that where it's like on the go. So.
Yeah, exactly. I really enjoyed it. I went there twice. It's actually funny. Before we go back to Ben's, on Father's Day, me, my dad, and myself were actually those 2 guys with an iPad while you're at a bar. We had an iPad and we were watching the PGA Tour.
Oh, really?
People were hovering around us.
They weren't They didn't have TVs.
They don't have TVs in Beer Garden, so we were those guys.
I remember getting a text from you Sunday saying that you weren't enjoying the meal, or was.
What do you mean?
On Father's Day, you texted me your dinner. Your dinner was bad, like shitty hamburgers or something.
They weren't great hamburgers, and it's funny. Let's go back to bed, but it's funny you say that. Like we were looking for a reservation. My mom's like, "We're not gonna get a table anywhere. It's gonna be insane." Like, Greg, we have to book month in advance. Mm-hmm. We go to this place, 40 seats. We're the only people in there. No one else was eating.
That's not a good sign.
And that's when I knew the meal was not gonna be good. When
so it seems like it's a great place to get drinks before you go out or something like that.
That's definitely. I mean, yes, the waitresses were also very pretty, which is a plus. Yeah. So, like, I couldn't be like, yeah, my food's horrible. Because you know my one rule, Ben, and I was talking about this because I'm taking a math course coming up. And I was talking to my mom about this. My mom goes, do you want a tutor? I go, yes, but I have some rules. It has to be, it could either be a man or a woman, but it cannot be a good-looking woman, because I cannot focus with a good-looking woman, Ben. I would not be able to focus.
That's funny. I think I agree with that rule. It makes it way more difficult to focus on the math problems or whatever you're doing if there's a beautiful young woman in front of you. But
So let's go back to Ben's, right? So after dinner, we both broke up. We went different places. I
Yeah.
went back to our friend Keith Knopp's apartment.
no, I was there. I went.
you were very
we took
forgettable.
separate I feel like that was like a 5-minute.
We were in the same cab. We saw the girl that I go to school with.
Oh
We
yeah,
walked out.
yeah. That did happen. You want to name drop another person?
No, I'm not
Okay.
going to name drop her. But a really funny story, real quick. We walk out of this cab in New York, home to millions of people.
Yeah.
And we get out of this cab, and it's just these two girls that I go to college with
Yeah.
that I haven't seen in like 4 months. Literally, when we get out of the cab.
Yeah.
And Ben's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I went over there and I started talking, and I was like, I think I asked them where they were from, and I couldn't really. They kind of mumbled, and then I was like, "Hey, where did they just say they were from?" And it was like Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and I was like, "How the hell did we just see that?" That was crazy.
Yeah, very goofy. So we went back up to our friend's Keith's apartment, pre-gamed a little bit, and then we went to this bar called Anchor Bar.
Yeah, it wasn't actually called. Remember that? Were you?
Oh my god, yes, yes.
So it's not actually called Anchor Bar. They switched names 7 years ago. People still call it that or something. But it was a tiny little bar, and these two Jewish people that were somehow connected to mutual friends, I guess. Isn't that surprising? Northeast Jews stay well connected. But they rented out the entire bar, which was cool. It was a small bar, but it was pretty packed. It was a good atmosphere. And yeah.
So it's funny, Ben says that because we were in an Uber going there, and we're like, "Take us to Anchor Bar." And he's like, "Where the fuck are you going?"
Yeah,
we're like, "Dude, Anchor Bar. You don't know where that is?" He's like, "I have no idea where Anchor
We're all
Bar
like,
is."
oh yeah, we're assuming we're going to some like popular place. It doesn't even exist. And we tell him the address eventually, and he drops us off at the street, and we're like, where the fuck is it? And we see these two girls across the street at some other bar, so we assumed it was there. So we were talking to her, and we were like, is this Anchor Bar? And she's like, no, Anchor Bar doesn't exist. Anchor Bar hasn't existed for 7 years or something. And she's like, but that's the old Anchor Bar,
Yeah.
and it changed the name. I don't even remember the name of it. But
Whatever.
it was a cool scene, and that was a weird story.
So you think it's a cool scene, and I was miserable there.
Really?
Ben, if I'm not able to move, I'll be miserable. Like, you had a good seat at the bar.
Yeah,
so
I was sitting at the bar.
You had a good seat at the bar, but I was moving, talking to people, and I freaked out. Like,
Yeah.
I think I texted Ross, and I was like, "Can we please
Yeah, I
leave?
remember
Like, I'm
I
miserable."
actually- yeah.
We had a group chat.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
four
I
of us.
saw that. But I was sitting comfortably at the bar, and I was sitting with a friend that actually had an ID or something, which would get her free drinks, and she was hooking me up with free drinks, so that was a bonus. Maybe that's why I enjoyed the bar more than you did, or whatever.
No, that's so funny. One of my friends, also a girl who was there, also got me free
Yeah,
drinks.
that's huge. That was saved me like legitimately like $40.
But here's a funny story. So the girl was a longtime friend of mine since like one of my first friends when I was 1 year old, right?
Okay.
Like our dads are best friends. Like
Okay.
they know each other. Very good friends. Like great family friends.
Yeah.
I've known her my whole life.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, all right, like same thing you do for family. Like let me buy you a drink, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And her friend, she's like, come with us. And I go, I love you, but I'm not buying your friend a drink. I'm like, I don't want to buy your friend a drink. And she's like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I have a passion. I'll buy you drinks. I'm like, oh my god. I am such an asshole. I am so sorry.
I'm not buying you a drink. Oh, wait. She's actually going to buy me a drink. She's going to get me a free drink.
Yeah, I felt
That's
really
funny.
bad.
That's funny.
So after Anchor Bar or whatever the fuck it's called,
Yeah.
you left. You were gone.
Yeah.
So then me, Ross, and Alex Sharf went to B Bar. And the line was long, and I get to B Bar, and they go, "This isn't you on your ID." Which,
Oh, yeah.
it's not me.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
whatever.
I've already experienced that with you.
Yeah. He goes,
Yeah.
"It's not me," but he goes, "But I'm doing your favor. I'll let you walk away and leave." And
Yeah.
I go, "All right, thank you." So I knew I had some buddies down at Hudson Terrace. So I was in a good state right now. I wasn't that drunk because I think it's important to stay in control of yourself when you're in the city.
That's funny coming from you. But we're not. We won't. Just go on. You were definitely in control.
Yeah, very much control.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hailed a cab, went up and met with my friends at Hudson Terrace.
Yeah.
And my buddy just Miami Flid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know what Flid means, it means fucking Long Island douchebag.
Yeah.
And it was plethora.
that was the typical kid that we saw, I would say, even at Anchor Bar that's not whatever that bar is called. But throughout the night, that's who he spent time with.
Whatever. So I'm walking there, and I see, like, girls 3 years younger walking into the bars. I'm walking up alone. I'm like,
oh, you're like,
what the hell did I get myself into? Like, if this Governor's Ball part
but
2.
at least you know you're getting in. When you see the
Exactly.
18-year-old kids, you're kind of like, you're half pumped, half like, what the fuck am I doing? But at least you have a place to go.
Exactly. I know
Yeah.
I'm getting in after that. So I do that. I get in. I have a good time. And then I end up getting home from the city 5:30. And
You took an Uber home?
Yeah, me and my buddy Jake Levison took an Uber home.
Luckily, I crashed at my friend's place.
Who'd you crash at?
Tones.
Oh, you...
He got back from his bar at like 5:45 in the morning,
my God.
like drunk as hell. And I actually, the next morning, I don't want to get too personal here, but the next morning I was kind of hungover and I really needed a phone charger because
he had a friend over.
I needed to get a phone charger because I needed to catch my train and I needed to get the mobile ticket, whatever. So I go in the room and he's like, Ben, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I see these legs and I was like, shit, he's like, Ben, you gotta get out of here. I have someone over right now. So he wasn't too happy with me, but I got my phone charger, which is the most important thing.
Ben, that is so funny you say that, because I don't know if you remember, when we went to your apartment in Boston, I went into this room of one of your friends, and I opened the door, and I was, like, staring at him for, like, 10 seconds. I thought it was you. I was like, yo, Ben, like, get the fuck up. Like, let's go for breakfast. I was like, yo, Ben, like, Ben's buddies with the girl. I'm staring at the bed for 20 seconds, thinking it's Ben.
And he's like, what do you want, or something?
He's like, what's up, man? Can I do anything for you? I'm like, I'm so sorry.
I was in the room next door. That was funny.
All right, so we just want to say thank you so much to Lori and Larry Patowski, Ben's parents.
Big shout out to them.
Yeah,
it was
for
an
a great
awesome
birthday.
time. Awesome time.
Yeah, great birthday, and Ben, I'm excited to spend 21 more with you. And if you make it past 42, then we'll talk about that when it comes.
Yeah.
But Ben, we talked about the fun on the weekend. Mm-hmm. Then we get back Monday through Friday. That's the work week.
Right.
I heard that something really bad happened to you at work, and all of our listeners want to hear about
it. I fucked up pretty bad at work. I never get serious jobs. This wasn't even a serious job, but I finally got work, and it was a decent amount. And this woman comes up to me, and she's like, I have 2 assignments for you. You finish one, then you come back in the afternoon, and I'll give it to you. So, like, I wanted to impress her, so I kind of... it was an Excel worksheet, and I was trying to do some shortcuts on Excel to speed up the process. And while doing that, I linked a bunch of sheets together, and whatever I would type in one column in sheet 1 would say the same in sheet 5, which was bad because it was sensitive information, and I basically screwed up an office-wide Excel workbook. And at the end, when I was like all pumped, I was like, oh, I finished this like before she said. I was like, oh yeah, she's gonna be impressed. I sent her the work. She's like, all right, let's go through this. And I was like, okay, fine. And she's looking at it, and she's like, oh no, there are so many errors here. And I was like, shit. And she goes around the office emailing people, like she's getting calls from people like, what's this, like this is wrong information. And she was just throwing me out. She's like, sorry, that was Ben the intern. She's telling everyone who it was. And she's like, I should have made a copy of it so he didn't have to work on it. Like, he didn't have to work on the actual copy, but I felt like an idiot. And rightfully so. It was an idiotic move.
2 things. 1, horrible by you.
Yeah, horrible.
But 2, I probably used Excel 100 times.
Yeah.
I still don't understand it.
Yeah.
Microsoft Excel is so fucking confusing.
Do you put it on your resume though, like that you can?
No, I don't.
You don't? I do, but I don't know how to use it.
Ben probably gets the job. He's good for the interview, and they go, "We see you're pretty good with Microsoft Excel. That's a real big part of our company, and we really need someone who's serious and knows it to be on." And Ben's like, "I got it." So besides the public shaming, similar to Game of Thrones, where they yell shame when the woman walks around naked around town, for all of our Thrones watchers, Shame. Whatever. Did anything else happen to you? Because of that fuck up?
Everyone had to fix it as a team, basically, because it was a decent amount of work. As a result of my mistake, there was a decent amount of work to be done, but they didn't give me the same sheet. They gave me a duplicate, which no one was ever going to look at, and so they basically were like, if you want to do this, you can do this, but we're not going to take your work, and no one's going to look at it. So that's what I did today. That's what I was supposed to be doing today, but I knew no one was going to look at it, so I just didn't do anything. So I'm kind of in exile right now, I guess you could say.
They're playing mental games with you.
Yeah, remember, yesterday you called me after work, and I was kind of pissed off. I don't know if I think you picked up on it. I was not in a good mood after work yesterday. But then I was thinking about it today, and I was like, I don't really care that much. Like, I'm not interested in this company. I just don't care.
Now, all of our listeners...
However, next year I do want a job, so you should hire me. I'm a great employee.
That leads to my next question. Are you going to keep... all of our listeners want to know this. I'm getting texts about it as we're saying it right now, okay? Are you going to keep ability to work with Excel on your resume?
Definitely, 100%. I might even maybe take a few, like, YouTube, watch some videos. I think that I should definitely do. Maybe the next 6 weeks at this job, I'm going to be looking up Excel videos, so maybe I can actually be proficient in Excel. I don't say I'm advanced. I just say I'm capable or proficient.
Okay, so you say you're really not doing anything at work, right?
Yeah.
What about, like, do you have to sign in and sign out while you're at your office and see what's going on so you get paid properly?
Yeah, every time I come into the office, I have to go on some app and sign in. And you have to manually do it when you go in for lunch, when you come back from lunch, and at the end of the day. And if you don't do it, your hours don't record. So I've been getting in at like 9 o'clock usually, and I go for lunch at like 1, and I usually take a really long time for lunch because I don't want to be back in the office. And it's easy to kill time in New York. But I don't sign out right away. Like, I don't sign out until I come back in, actually. So I go to lunch from 1 to 2. I say I go to lunch at 2, and then I say I come back at 2:15. I hope no one from the office is listening to this, but...
You wait, so just so we're clear, all right? Let me repeat that one more time, just so we're clear, okay?
I kind of feel guilty saying this on air, but...
No. Let me repeat this so everyone knows exactly what you just said, right? So you go out for lunch from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock every day?
Like, around there, yeah.
Usually a little longer, probably.
No, usually like an hour.
But you write down that your lunch break is from 2 o'clock to 2:15.
Yes.
So does everyone think you're sprinting out of the building to the deli? You're sprinting to the building?
Well, one time I got an email about it, and I just said, yeah, I ate it I went next door, picked up something, and brought it back to my desk.
So you're
saying, and then do work while I'm eating lunch.
You know what? That's probably why you're so bad on Excel.
I've learned from my previous internships where I've also done minimal work that you need to clock in the hour somehow.
So, would you put on your resume that you're an expert in
my time
cheating?
My time management skills are noted on my resume.
All right, so we talked about timesheets. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about my work, if you're okay with that. So
temp work.
Yeah, so temp work. I got back to the Museum of Natural History again.
Wow, that's exciting.
Still scared as shit if the exhibits are going to come to life.
Yeah.
Still terrified.
Did you watch Night of the Museum since?
I've watched part of it, and I started suffering from PTSD, and I have to turn it off.
I feel like that would be an exciting... Maybe you would thrive there.
Where?
If it was like a Night of the Museum scene.
Oh, I'd love it. Yeah, I could see me and Pocahontas fall in love. I could see it, man. I could see it. That's my kind of girl.
Quality movie.
Yeah, that's a quality girl and quality movie. Yeah. So I worked there, and today, usually, the first time I worked there, I was the elevator boy.
Yeah,
we loved it, and this time I was a ticket scanner, and then
that sounds.
The first time I was on floor 1, I got moved up to floor 4.
Wow,
what did that sound like to you?
That sounds like a promotion.
That sounds like an upgrade to me, man. So I got moved up to floor 4, and
were you pumped?
I was very excited. I worked with my main man, Anthony, from Puerto Rico. And,
oh, by the way, this was so funny, I thought, at dinner. So, I'm sorry for sidetracking, but this just reminded me of it. So, at Ben's birthday, our buddy stands up and it's like, yeah, last year we did this thing where we said our name, because for last year we went out for a birthday dinner as well, and we said last year we would stand up.
You're talking about Ben's birthday,
right?
Okay.
We would stand up and say one thing about us, say who you are and one thing about us. And Harrison, can you tell the listeners what you said? I thought that was in particular really funny, and I don't think it got the laughs it deserved.
If I'm going to be honest, I forget what I said.
Okay, you said, "Hey, my name's Harrison," and a fun fact about me is that I'm the only white dude that works at my temp position that hasn't been in or out of jail in the last 90 days or something. I thought that was hilarious.
You know what? Now that you say it, I'm shocked only 4 people laughed at it. I think I got like Jordan
clever.
Kahn, Mike, you, and I probably got a courtesy laugh from like Ross or
everyone
Gabe.
liked mine.
Which one's yours?
I was just like, I did the Little League thing. I was like, hey, my name's Ben Keizel, and I play second base in outfield, and my favorite player is Derek Jeter.
I love that, but I heard you rehearse it 2 times before, so it wasn't as funny to me to say it.
I've never rehearsed that in my life.
You rehearsed it while we were at dinner. You're like, well, what if I said the Little League one with Derek Jeter? I heard you talking to Brett saying it.
That's true.
Yeah,
you called me. Fuck.
But, so, going back to the 10 positions, I am the only white guy who hasn't been in jail in the last 90 days. Mine's actually 91 days starting yesterday, so I'm very excited. No, so I got promoted from the 1st floor to the 4th floor, and I was doing ticket scanning with my boy Anthony from Puerto Rico. Yeah. And I was doing ticket scanning for the Mummy exhibit. First off, I want to say, the Museum of Natural History makes so much fucking money, Ben. You have to pay $22 to get in, and then to just get into that exhibit, it's like $15.
Separately?
Yeah. So I saw people dropping bands. Damn. Yeah. So much money, and I was scanning tickets, and it doesn't even matter, because, like, it'll scan for anything, but I was just doing it for fun. Like, I think it's, like, to test people. Like, I could have done my job just looking at it. The numbers don't matter for scanning, but I had a great time. I did that. It was a lot of fun, but the funniest thing about it is, I remember I told you the first time, let me slow down, because I'm talking way too fast.
All right.
I remember the first time I told you I was working at the Museum of Natural History, there's so many international people who were there, right?
A lot of Spanish speakers.
So, what I started doing was pretending I could understand other languages.
How did you just, like, nodding your head?
So, like I heard some kid, I heard some kids speaking French, and I go, "Parlez-vous français?" And they start going a rant to me. I go, wow.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's me mouthing, no way.
No one can hear that, but...
I just mouthed, no way. But I was pretending that, and they're like, "So can you help us?" I go, "Oh, I actually don't speak French at all." And I did this with a French person, Italian, and Mandarin. So that was fun, and we always like to talk about whenever we're working in the city where we go out for lunch. Right. And I went for lunch this time. I went to this new place. It's called what's that bar? What's the bar in the city that everyone goes to? It's like a happy hour bar. It starts with the C.
I don't know. I'm not
whatever. So it's like a name.
It's a popular bar.
Yeah, but that's not where I went. But it's the same name as the bar.
Okay.
And I went there, and like they said, I was like, "What's good here?" I was like, "Is the chicken good here?" The guy's like, "No," which I appreciated so much.
I respect that. I really respect that.
I appreciated it so much. And then he goes, "These are the 2 best things," and he pointed to 2 salads, and I was like, "I don't really like wasabi mayo. Like, would you be able to take that off?" He goes, "It probably won't be that good with it off. So why don't you have this salad?" I got the salad. So good.
Really?
And I really appreciated it. I gave him like a $5 tip. Yeah. He sent me with the phone charger. I was really happy with my meal. It was
love that.
One of my best city meals. Have you found anywhere good to go to lunch yet?
I've been going a friend of mine showed me this restaurant. It's not really a restaurant. It's in an office building, and it's buffet style, but they have like gourmet food, and it's served, and it's charged by weight. So you can get a lot of food, and it's like really good food. There's like sushi. Like I had like grilled swordfish the other day, and like really good food, and it's not that expensive, and I love it. I go there. I literally go there every day.
You love it.
It's amazing, yeah. They switch up their meals. Like I grilled swordfish yesterday. Today I had like sausage and peppers, and it's insane. I get really excited about lunch.
But most importantly, are you recognizable there yet? Do you walk in and they go,
No.
Benny?
No, the place is always really crowded, but I see some familiar Jewish faces.
Wow.
Like some of our friends that we saw over the weekend. Not our friends, but our friends' school friends.
Any names that you like to name drop?
I don't really know. I know one of them is Gropper. You know that kid?
Brandon's friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's the kid that looks exactly like Brett. All, I don't know.
The kid who looks like Brett.
I think he looks like Brett.
Must be very handsome.
Very handsome.
Very handsome. So I finish lunch, right? And I go to the newsstand. I always get myself a Red Bull. But usually I have Altoids in my pocket because I can't chew gum anymore because I got a new tooth.
Okay.
Like from a root canal or something. I mean, my teeth are fucked up.
All right. That sounds intense.
Yeah.
Was that
no, that was a while ago. But like the crown fell off, whatever, and I was getting food stuck in my tooth.
Yeah.
And I wasn't.
So Altoids. Altoids is a perfect solution.
So I went to Altoids, but I have coffee in the morning. I pick up coffee. I don't have coffee going to the train because I try to sleep, rest in the train.
Yeah.
So I get coffee at Penn Station where I saw Erica Perching at Dunkin' Donuts. What I was telling you about.
Oh, you were excited about that.
So I get my coffee at Dunkin' Donuts, right?
Yeah.
And I go there and I realize I'm going to be interacting with. I probably interact with 4,000 people a day. The Museum of Natural History.
Yeah, I guess it's an interaction.
I probably interact with just like, hey, no photography, enjoy the exhibit. Hey, no photography, enjoy the exhibit. And I make comments like, I'll see a kid wearing a Barcelona jersey.
If I was there, I would just write a sign. No photography.
But I like to talk.
No, I know.
Yeah. So I'll see a kid wearing a Barcelona jersey. I'll be like, I like your Messi jersey. Yeah. But in the morning, I had coffee breath. So I was talking with my hand over my mouth like this. Hey, enjoy the show. Please enjoy photography. And I was so nervous.
I feel like you always have Altoids on you.
I always
noticed,
do.
You always have like some type of
breath
in your car. You have the mouthwash.
Yeah, I have everything.
Yeah.
I'm very particular about my breath because I get nervous about it. Yeah.
I think that's good to do.
Yeah.
No one likes someone with smelly ass breath.
Yeah.
One of my roommates, I'm not going to name drop him, always has
name drop. No. Drop top.
He always has terrible breath, and everyone comments on it, but we never actually tell him to his face. We're just like, dude, this guy needs to use mouthwash or something.
Well, don't be like Ben. If one of your buddies has bad breath, let him know. Be like, a good friend.
I don't know. Sometimes it's weird.
Say the name on air right now.
No, I won't. But let's continue about your story.
All right, Ben. I would have loved for you to say the name of your friend.
No.
Okay. Okay. So Altoids, right?
Yeah.
I've learned something. I'm allergic to Altoids. I'm not allergic to anything in this world, but whenever I have Altoids in my mouth, I sneeze twice at the beginning. It is the weirdest fucking allergy of all time.
Weird.
I'm not allergic to pollen, not allergic to...
I'm not allergic to anything.
Nuts, not allergic to anything. But I'll put Altoids in my mouth, and I know I'm going to sneeze. So I'm anticipating it before I put the Altoids in. I go, all right, make sure I have no snot in my nose. Altoid.
So now that you need to be prepared with Altoids and tissues.
Yeah. Well, I've always known that, but it's just funny that
is really
I
funny.
still go back to it every time.
That's funny. That's a really bizarre allergy.
It's like if I'm
that's funny as hell.
It's like if I'm a dog with an electric fence, and I just keep on running to the electric fence every time.
Exactly.
So when I get off work, right, I have the ability to explore the museum, right? I could go on an exhibit, and I think the museum is so cool, and there's no one who loves museums more than me. I love museums. It's
a huge museum, too. A lot of cool stuff.
I have the right. I could get through security. I could really do anything. I could be like, yo, let me in this exhibit. Like, I'm working today. Like, they'll let me in. Like, I can get into the shows. I get into the expensive things. I can see behind the scenes. I can see
High
everything.
roller over here.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Pretty big deal.
Yeah, so, but I was telling Ben Patowski that I'm so done at the end of the day that I never want to walk around.
Yeah,
and like I was so tired.
Like, I mean, you just interacting, like talking to everyone throughout the day is probably exhausting. And Ben's just standing on your feet and shit like that.
And Ben's like, it's like working at a restaurant and eating thereafter. You never want to do it. You don't want to shit while you eat. And I said to Ben, and Benny P, you're getting a lot of attention on today's podcast.
Yeah, he is.
I said to Benny P, I was like, I don't want to do that if I worked at Nobu. And Ben goes, Nobu is overrated. I don't know if you guys know Nobu, but it's a very famous sushi chain. Just want to reiterate again, we're talking live on Armed Radio Boston right now. And if there's a Nobu in Boston, go check it out.
I don't think there is, but...
So I've never been to Nobu.
Okay.
And Ben goes, I think Nobu's overrated. I said, Nobu being overrated is called the Michigan of our friends effect.
Yeah.
Every one of our friends is so obsessed with Nobu. It's insane.
I wouldn't say the general public overrates it, but like the people that we hang out with are fortunate enough to go to Nobu like 5 times a month. So it's like that's all we hear about. So in that sense, like I agree. Like I wouldn't like there are plenty of amazing restaurants in New York City. So much to choose from, but like these kids always go back to Nobu.
Yeah.
But I mean, in that sense, it is overrated. It's a really, really good restaurant, but like there's plenty to choose from. Don't go there 5 times a month.
But so really what I'm asking you is, if you had the opportunity of like being able to work at a museum and you could walk around after, would you do it or would you be done with it?
I'd probably be done with it. Maybe once or twice I would go around, but after that, I'd get sick of it. With the dinner thing, though, if depending on where I'm working, I feel like I would take out from that place a decent amount. Maybe not sit there after I work, but like...
Like, you want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
So, one time I worked at Red Mango, right?
Yeah.
A while back. My uncle owns Red Mango. I worked there.
Yeah.
I can't eat Red Mango anymore. Because I've made it. I know how fucking gross it is when you make it.
Oh, you made it, okay.
Ben, it is so disgusting. It's...
And they were big on that. Like
soft.
one of our friends opened a Red Mango a few years ago, and they were so big on like how healthy it was and how organic it was, and I was like, get out of here.
What
like,
is it?
Yeah,
What is it?
I don't believe that, and now I know for a fact that that's a lie.
'Cause I'm leaving on that midnight train to Georgia. You know that song?
No.
Oh, that's a good song. We'll play that in a minute. Yeah. So I can't eat Red Mango anymore, and so my uncle actually owns Red Mango, and I wish I could see my uncle tomorrow, but he's not coming in for my brother's graduation, which is tomorrow. Yeah. And my grandmother's actually taking an Uber by herself to the graduation tomorrow. Funny. But why don't we give a shout out to my younger brother and widely known kind of obnoxious kid, Drew Cohn. Shout out, Drew.
Insane hair. You should look him up or something. He's got a crazy hairdo. But shout out to Drew. Big congrats on graduating high school.
Yeah, big congrats.
Is that impressive, though?
I heard he got a little DRUNK at post-prom last night. I actually don't know what happened to him. I'm just making it up.
Yeah, you haven't seen him since.
No.
No one's seen him since.
No one's seen him. But, yeah, congrats on graduating. And my grandmother's taking Uber here right now, right?
Yeah.
And we wanted to say take a train, but I'm concerned she'd get lost. I mean,
yeah.
She probably could walk, like, say you're walking a mile slow in 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. I'd say if she was able to complete the mile, that would be 3.5 hours.
How old is your grandmother?
74. Yeah,
that's a big task.
Not crazy old, just crazy slow. And I love her. I mean, incredible woman.
Yeah,
one of my idols. Great woman.
Great woman.
Kind of like my LeVar Ball.
Your LeVar Ball.
Yeah.
What's your take on graduations in general?
So, I love the movie The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman, where they go, and here's to you, Mrs. Robinson.
But what's your whole thing on, like, you have to, like, especially at a college graduation?
Oh, not about the movie.
No, I'm not talking about the Graduate. Graduate is a great movie.
Yeah.
But graduations, I think, are terrible. They're so unnecessary, I think, and pretty boring, and you just get a piece of paper and you just walk off, and it's 3 hours. And usually it's really hot.
So here's what I know about graduation.
Yeah.
I'm sweating way too much whenever I'm at graduation. My back sweat gets insane, so I'm miserable immediately.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a fan of graduations. You should boycott your brother's graduation.
But I like the song Graduation by Kanye West. I like The Graduate by Mrs. Robinson. And Ben, even though it's off topic, but just in our transition as we're going back to Uber for a minute, I want to play Midnight Train to Georgia by Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Technical
difficulties.
Bear with us.
So, something that Uber... Too much for the man. So, Ben, I love this song, right?
Yeah.
And it's just about a man. She's following her man on the midnight train to Georgia. And this is a beautiful transition to Uber because it has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And Uber CEO has gotten fired. So shout out Uber CEO. We hope you find a job where you can't get fired for sexual assault.
Yeah.
But Uber is now having an option where you can give people tips.
Yeah.
And I hate that.
So do I.
Because I'm going to feel compelled to give tips, and I'm going to lose so much money. Because
Why are you compelled? Like, why do they get tips? I don't get it.
it's so... Because, like, when I take a cab, right, the reason whenever I'm in the city, I choose Uber over cab is because in a cab, I have to say 20% tip. Uber, you know how much you're paying.
You don't have to
look at it till after.
You don't have to tip it with the cab either.
Yeah, but I usually do, because I'm compelled to. And, like, you know a funny story?
Yeah.
I took a cab from work one day, and I didn't give him a tip. He goes, "You're not tipping?"
Yeah, remember the other night on Friday when we left the cab and
I said hi to my friend. I wasn't
remember,
paying.
but they were like, "Are your friends okay?" Because the taxi driver was yelling at our friends because we didn't tip well enough. And we're like, "Are you like that's ridiculous?"
Like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah, you're just fucking. You're not doing it like unless you're like exceptional or you like do something.
You like great air conditioning.
Like what? I don't know. Like if you like have a great conversation, I don't even know. Like you don't deserve a tip. No. Like I appreciate what you do, but I'm not going to tip you.
So what do you think of Uber now having tips?
I don't like it.
I'm really annoyed. And put it this way: if Lyft doesn't have tips, I will go to Lyft. They will lose me as a customer.
Lyft. I think they also have optional tips.
Ugh!
And when you're intoxicated, I feel like I tip by accident sometimes, or sometimes I'm compelled to tip as well.
It's gonna happen to me, and I'm gonna tip. I'm gonna start tipping. Like, say I have a $100 ride, like going back from the city. Like me and Jake took an Uber back. It was $80, 40 each, right?
Okay.
Say they offer me 20%. That's a $5 extra I'm paying. I'm already paying a lot, and I'm gonna feel bad. Like if it's 2 a.m. not giving a tip. But like, I don't think there should be tips in Uber.
I agree. There's no reason for it.
It's really annoying. I mean, I'm a little flustered.
The only thing why I understand it a little bit though is because I heard Uber takes a huge chunk of the driver's paycheck. Unlike Lyft and unlike some of the other driving apps, Uber takes a bigger portion of the driver's check.
Yeah, but don't you feel like every guy who does Uber also does Lyft?
Yeah, most of them do. Yeah,
they have like 4 different driving apps. They're all open at the same time.
Yeah, no, that is. I actually have noticed that. That's a good point.
Yeah, I was watching the guy like he was Ubering. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a Lyft."
Yeah.
So he's accepts the Lyft while I'm driving. He's like, you sure you know where you're going?" I'm like, "Dude, like, don't play me like that. Like, don't play a player." Talking about other giants, Amazon acquisition. I know you had a hot take on that. What do you
Not
think?
a hot take. I just thought I was wondering if you had any hot takes, and I thought it was interesting to see. Amazon is just in an insane powerhouse.
So
right
tell
now.
everyone what Amazon just did.
Amazon bought Whole Foods, so they're gonna get into. I mean, they're already in the grocery shopping market.
Distribution service.
Right, yeah, that's what I was trying to say. They're already in that market, but buying Whole Foods completely changes it for them because Whole Foods has such a has such a loyal customer base. So that's going to be huge for Amazon, an already giant company.
So let me put it this way. I think by 2020, Amazon will lead the world in deliveries, lead the world in sales, and lead the world in the supermarket industry.
Yeah.
I think Amazon is taking over the world, and
Amazon is
insane.
It's insane to think about. They started. I don't exactly know when they started. Do you know when?
No, but what I do
they
know,
started as just selling textbooks.
Yeah,
paperback textbooks.
I remember that.
And now they're this conglomerate.
Yeah,
like, it's really insane. It's an insane story. I want to research it more, and because it's really an incredible story.
Put it this way, Ben, and this is where you're gonna learn right here. Ready? Yeah. You're gonna learn today. You ever seen that Kevin Hart special?
No, but I've seen the song
with
Jay-Z. I don't know what it's called, but he says, "Y'all gonna learn today."
Yeah, it's Kevin Hart, like, stand-up line. Like, he's talking about his father. He goes, "You gonna learn today."
I haven't seen it.
Whatever. Kevin Hart. I always used to think, quick tidbit on Kevin Hart, quick sidebar. I used to think Kevin Hart was, like, a movie guy and not that good of a comedian, but I watched his stand-up. I raffled. Rolled on the floor laughing. I raffled.
Yeah, I did not know what you meant there. He's a funny dude. He's also in insane shape. Fun fact about Kevin Hart.
Yeah, right after me, he's right there.
Yeah, it goes, Harry's the strongest man in the world.
Kevin Hart.
Then Kevin Hart.
Then Triple H.
Yeah.
Wrestlers.
Then LeBron.
Talk about Amazon. I put it this way. By 2020, every family will have a relationship with Alexa. Every family will have a relationship with Alexa. Not Alexa Pele, but Alexa, the Amazon app.
Yeah. Amazon is dominant. Shout out to congratulations.
but preach how scary Amazon will be if they become massive.
I don't know how to preach that, but
Well, try it.
I'm preaching Amazon. That's great radio right
And
there.
also, you could find Amazon, like, you could just search through Amazon for hours. It's a great time killer at work. Like, you could search
And also-
through Amazon apps and Amazon things, and Amazon Video,
Amazon is like all over the place. Like Netflix streaming service has something to do with Amazon. Like they bought it from Amazon. So Amazon has like what's the word? They have
their own originals, which are great. And
they also have TV shows. But I'm saying
That's
the
what I'm saying,
streaming
TV
service that Netflix uses, they bought from Amazon. Like that's how.
No way.
Yeah. So they're all their footprints are all over the world. Not even just
That's
Netflix.
crazy.
There's other
That's
things. I
crazy.
forget I was reading that they are just so huge. It's crazy.
Dude, I started watching, like, Amazon Prime Video over Netflix originals. Amazon Prime Video has some great shows. Sneaky Pete, Hand of God with Ron Perlman. Like, they have some good shows. Like, you get good actors. It's not that hard to produce shows. And if you're an aspiring television show writer, now's the time. Because all these networks are looking for new people.
Yeah.
You hear Snapchat's now starting a video service where they can do, like, 5-minute shows.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so we're going to do one of the ugliest and messy transitions of all time right now,
I'm
Ben.
excited for it.
On Amazon, you could sometimes buy some magic tricks, right? You could buy some magic tricks and buy some magic shows. But I want to talk about Magic Johnson, the GM of the Los Angeles
The
Lakers.
new GM of the Lakers.
Magic Johnson, I know a lot of you people probably think of Magic Johnson as Age Johnson. But he also is one of the greatest players of all time.
AIDS John. Oh, I didn't even.
Yeah, AIDS, because he has AIDS.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I think of Magic Johnson as one of the greatest players to ever live.
Yeah.
And now
top 5, top 10 player,
top 5.
no doubt.
I mean, I put him in my top 5. You want me to do my top 5 real quick?
No, I don't want to get in this debate with you. But
Okay, fine.
He's a great, all-time great, legend.
Okay. Yeah, so I think Magic's an all-time great. We both of them have him in our top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's now the GM of the Lakers, and he just made a trade with my Brooklyn Nets.
He did. What are you, as a Nets fan?
Well, let's recap the trade real quick.
Okay, so the trade was the Nets received D'Angelo Russell and Timothy Mozgov. And the Lakers received Brooke Lopez and the 27th overall pick in the 2017 draft. That was it, right?
That was it.
Yeah.
So I love the trade. First off, I have a really take that I've talked about, I've written about already. I want to know what's your opinion on the deal, and who do you think won?
I think both teams really benefit from this. For the Lakers, they dump off that Mozgov salary.
$18 million a year. For
Crazy amount of money. So that will give the Lakers a lot of options in free agency. They're going after Paul George right now. There are a lot of rumors about LeBron James. I don't know how serious that is for next year. So that's huge for the Lakers. They just had a lot more cap flexibility. Also, Brooke Lopez is a very good player still, and he can help them now. I'm not sure. They're still going to be bad. They're still going to be one of the worst teams in the league. I think, did they trade their 2018 pick away? Do you know?
Yes, Philly has it.
Okay.
Philly traded it to Boston in the trade for the...
Okay, so they're not going to have a top pick in next year's draft anyway. So they'll be a little better than last year. And for the Nets, huge, because the Nets don't have any draft picks this year or next year, and they were the worst team in the NBA last year. But they essentially drafted D'Angelo Russell. That's how I think of it. He's like 20 years old, and he was drafted second a couple years ago, and he has a ton of potential. The situation in LA, his rookie year was a disaster, so he didn't get much of a shot there. And this year he wasn't bad, but people are a little frustrated with his like attitude, I guess. But I think he's a stud, and I think it was a really good deal with the Nets, and the Nets could be in a lot worse position based on their trade history with Billy King.
Yeah, so I completely agree with what you're saying. And first thing I want to mention is people are forgetting how good Brook Lopez is. Everyone's saying like, the Lakers gave up Russell for nothing to drop off Mozgov's contract. Like, Brook Lopez has averaged more than 20 points for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
And he can shoot the 3 ball at 38%. The guy is one of the top 5 offensive centers in the league.
Probably, yeah. I would agree with that. I think he's on a... I heard the Nets did it. I think this is true. I think I heard this. He's on an expiring contract, so the Nets wanted to get some value from him.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, which makes it even better for the Nets, because the Nets weren't... A rebuilding team is not going to play a 30-year-old center with foot concerns.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 worst combinations for a center. Foot concerns and being 30.
Yeah, and they're not winning anyway, like Harry was saying. So it made a lot of sense.
Basically, what the Nets just did is got D'Angelo Russell for the 27th pick.
Yeah.
Which is insane, and I completely agree with what you said. The Nets were in so much trouble. They had the 22nd pick and the 27th pick.
Yeah.
They got a potential superstar. If you're being drafted second, you have a superstar potential.
And they also have some decent young pieces. LeVert had a good
Hollis
year.
Jefferson is a good player. Isaiah Whitehead's a good player.
Yeah, I mean, not great pieces, but at least they could be in a way shittier position based on their former GM.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that they were able to get D'Angelo Russell.
I was shocked. I was pretty surprised. I didn't hear rumors about that or anything.
No, well, people are saying like this is the new Nets front office with
it's Spurs.
It's
Spurs guy.
It's the Spurs number 2 guy. Yeah,
so
exactly.
I wasn't too surprised because I know he's such a smart guy.
No rumblings.
Values culture and stuff like that, and just a smart. I'm sure he's a smart guy. I don't know too much about him, but I know he comes from a great organization.
Yeah, well, put it this way, right? This guy would be entering his senior year of college.
Yeah, D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, D'Angelo Russell would be entering his senior year of college at the Ohio State University.
Who just fired their head coach, but
always have to say the in front of Ohio State. Yeah,
that's
always
true.
have to say the.
Is there any other schools like that? Is it like the kind of like with the U?
I feel like the University of Miami.
I feel like they say that.
Yeah, only douchey schools.
Yeah.
So he'd be entering his senior year of college, and I actually saw an interesting stat, Ben, if you don't mind if I read it.
No, go ahead.
There have only been, these are the players in NBA history to average 15 points per game and 4.8 assists before the age of 22. Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Stephen Marbury, Tony Parker, LeBron James, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, Derrick Rose, Brandon Jennings, Tyreek Evans, John Wall, Kyrie Irving, and D'Angelo Russell. That's really good company to be with.
Yeah.
I think 9 out of those 11 guys have more than 4 All-Star appearances.
Yeah, that's definitely a really good company. D'Angelo Russell has a lot of potential.
Yeah, after the All-Star break, D'Lo actually averaged 18 points per game and 6 assists. I mean,
you've been researching this new net acquisition.
Ben, I watched
that as a diehard.
Ben, I watched highlight videos for 40 minutes last night.
That's hilarious, but that doesn't surprise me.
Ice in my veins. Ice in my veins. Yeah, D'Angelo Russell's actually go-to dance after it's a game winner, which he said way too much for a young guy. He has like 5 game winners.
I don't know. I haven't seen his YouTube highlights, so. I've seen that one. I think it was a summer league.
Yeah.
That was really hyped up because he had a 6 shot to win the game, and he pointed to his veins and said, "Ice in my veins."
Yeah, he points to his veins. He goes, "I got ice in my vein, blood in my eyes." That's a Lil Wayne song. But I'm really excited to have D'Angelo Russell, and I just want to pay a little quick tribute to Brook.
Understandable.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in my somber voice if you guys don't mind. Do re mi fa sol la ti do. Fa sol la ti da. Harrison, don't cry, Harrison. It's not worth it, right? Harrison, don't cry. So, growing up in New Jersey, I really never had anyone to cheer for. I mean, I love Jason Kidd, but he beat his wife, so I mean, can't really cheer for him. Richard Jefferson left. Jason Kidd wasn't a true net. Jason Collins was gay. I didn't really have anyone that I could connect to.
Wait.
I didn't really have anyone I could connect to. So when Brook Lopez was drafted with the 10th pick in 2008, I knew this is the guy who's going to tell me the man I want to be. He went to Stanford for 3 years, grew up in California, and he's just a great guy. Had a great relationship with his twin brother, and I fell in love with him at first sight. And averaging 13 points a game and 8 rebounds in his rookie year, you knew that Lopez was a player that was there to stay. And through all these years being in trade rumors with Dwight Howard and the New Orleans Pelicans and even the Lakers a few years back, Brook Lopez stayed true and said he wanted to remain a net. And I just wanted to thank him for his consummate professionalism, being straight, and just being a great guy and a role model for not only me, but my family and the people of New Jersey and Brooklyn. So, Ben, if I could hoorah for Brook Lopez, that'd be great, please.
That's a beautiful tribute, but you should clarify your Jason Collins comment. Tell him you should say that you're not.
What, Ben? Say it on the radio. Ben, we say no. Ben, we say everything on the radio. You tell me what you want me to say.
Harrison was joking about. I mean, Jason Collins is openly gay, and we're very pro. Yeah, we're pro. What? How do you say it?
Almost.
I don't know, but
we're very pro. Do whatever you want. If you want to be a man, want to be a woman, do whatever. Do whatever the fuck you want.
That was just a funny comment. We're just
I was just joking. I was just joking. I mean, we're all about like if you want to be miserable like the rest of us, go get married. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't care. I mean,
we don't give a shit. Do whatever you want.
All my people that drug dealing just to get
anyway. That was a beautiful Brook Lopez tribute. I know how much he means to you.
Yeah,
I didn't know that he influenced your family so much though too.
Yeah. I mean, my dad actually legally changed his middle name to Brook, so it's Greg Brook, and I don't say my last name.
And your little sister has a Brook Lopez tattoo, I heard.
She did. She got it lasered off, but now she has 3 Brook Lopez fatheads in her room. One on top, one in the top of her room, and 2 on the side. That's actually funny. Do you have any fatheads in your house?
No.
Or have you?
I've never had a fathead. I don't know. It was a thing for a while. I never had any.
What happened to that? Why did it fall off?
I don't know. I have no idea. It was like popular for like a good 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, kind of like Friday by Rebecca Black.
That song was terrible.
Well, tomorrow was actually Friday.
Yeah, I guess. Well, we're actually recording.
Tomorrow was Friday.
Okay.
Ben, now that we're talking NBA and we only have a few more minutes on air because we both have work to get to.
Yeah.
Me on the court, crossing up some dudes, and you at the drinking club. Are there any other basketball hot topics that have been on your mind that you'd like to talk about?
I'm really interested to see what the Cavaliers do now that they got rid of their GM, which was controversial because he's done
3 straight finals.
Yeah, a really good job, and LeBron supports him, which is probably the most important thing there. But I'm very curious to see if Jimmy Butler or Paul George signs with the Cavs. I really want Butler to go to the Cavaliers because there are already a ton of rumors about next summer and LeBron leaving for the Lakers if they get Paul George or something like that. But meanwhile, I think if one of those guys goes to the Cavs could be just as good as the Warriors in my head.
I desperately, not because I love LeBron, I mean I do, but I desperately want the Cavs to either get Paul George or Jimmy Butler, because if you have a nucleus of Kyrie, Jimmy Butler, LeBron, or Kyrie, LeBron, Paul George, that can compete with the Warriors.
Yeah, that's in it. Like people are saying, oh, like LeBron should leave, but they have a really great secondary option right now in Kyrie, and if they get one more, and Kevin Love's pretty good. But if they get one more like athletic guy that's versatile like George or Jimmy Butler, that's an unbelievable core.
Well, I'll put it this way: Kyrie is the best scoring point guard in the NBA.
Yeah, he is.
The dude is I think playing with LeBron, people realize like LeBron can go other places and create. If he goes anywhere in the East, they're in the NBA Finals, basically.
Yeah, he makes everyone so much better.
But he has a great second option in Kyrie Irving.
Unbelievable. And if Kyrie wasn't playing with LeBron, his stats would be better.
Yeah.
His scoring stats. But Kyrie understands that LeBron is the greatest. And
well, did you hear what Kyrie said?
He said, like, I understand that... Which part?
Kyrie said, if LeBron leaves next year, I will demand a trade.
That was not. That was a false report. I think.
It was.
I'm pretty. Actually,
No, I think it was true. I think you're thinking of a different report. You're thinking of the Kyle Lowry report.
no.
That was false.
What I'm thinking about. Oh yeah, this is what I'm thinking. This is what. It's not. I wasn't thinking about that. But what I heard was the Cavaliers supposedly were telling star players like Jimmy Butler and Paul George not to come to the Cavs.
Yeah, that was
a
false. Yeah,
bullshit
yeah.
report.
Yeah, no, that was bullshit. But I'd love for them to come. But
I didn't hear that. Kyrie thing,
do you blame Kyrie? Like, if
No.
LeBron leaves, get me out because
I
Cleveland
know.
sucks.
I actually know. Yeah, Cleveland sucks. I know before LeBron was there, and if Kyrie was ending his contract, and then he re-signed right before LeBron. But I know at the end of his contract, his rookie year, he was unhappy with Cleveland. He didn't like being in Cleveland because it's Cleveland. I don't blame him at all. He's been there his whole career. If LeBron leaves, I want Kyrie to leave. I want
him to be happy. Yeah,
I want him to be in a good situation. He's a baller.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it insane that by the end of next year, the Cavs will be in the finals next year? We can agree on that, right?
Yeah.
By the end of next year, the Cavs could be from the finals to the worst team in the league.
And what's his name? Their owner is is an enormous douchebag.
Yeah, I mean, what is the point of starting with LeBron?
Yeah.
What is the point of not giving him everything he wants? Like,
Yeah.
I get it. Like, you're the owner, but why are you not listening to everything he
LeBron
says?
doesn't LeBron already doesn't like him from his controversial
what he
letter.
said. Yeah,
What a
yeah.
douche. He's a douche.
Why are you starting with LeBron?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And why wouldn't you? I don't even want to get it. Why wouldn't you sign the GM? Even if he doesn't do, even if he's not,
If LeBron
whatever
likes
he's
him,
doing,
keep him. Yeah.
Just get on you want to make your employees happy, especially your most important employee.
But he's really the only important employee. Because, put it this way, if LeBron leaves, that team is done.
Well, they're not an NBA contender.
They're not, if LeBron
They're in
leaves,
the
Kyrie
playoffs.
is gone.
Yeah, if that happens, yeah. So if you consider that,
And,
I agree.
I mean, like, I was reading a Bill Simmons piece earlier today, and he goes, they should give LeBron the GM piece. They should make LeBron the GM. They should do whatever he says. Because he has done everything for your franchise. They should do whatever he says. And before we end, do you have any hot NBA takes or something that you really want to happen in either the NBA draft, which is actually airing live on tonight? We project Markelle Fultz to be the first pick.
Yeah.
Or do you have any takes that you want to say?
I hope. I think it would be really interesting if if the Lakers pass on Lonzo somehow.
That would
they
be
haven't
very
guaranteed anything, and I would just love to see LeVar's reaction.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
My optimistic take, which I don't think is going to happen,
I hope the lottery.
I hope the Knicks trade Kristaps.
No, I hope
I
they
want us to
don't.
be happy. I want us to go somewhere else and just dominate.
Yeah, I really hope they don't do that, but I'm not convinced that they're. I'm convinced that they potentially might trade him because the Knicks are a joke.
Well, the Knicks are a joke is a great note to end on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening in Thursday night at 9 on Arm Radio Boston. We'll see you next week. Good night. Love you. God bless America. Ben?
God bless. Peace.